Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Cosmic, and in this video we're going through the patch details of this patch notes that we got for the upcoming uniforms of Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Electro. So let's dive into this. We got 3 new uniforms for Green Goblin, obviously. This is basically what we got, the 3 uniforms for Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Electro. So let's go into these uniforms one by one. Green Goblin, he's going to be speed type. He's going to return back to being speed. He's going to be on sale for 40%, and yeah, that's basically for the price of the uniform. They did change his leadership, his tier 2 passive, and his 4-star passive. So let's get into this. His uniform effect, he gives a 15% chain hits when attacking. His leadership, it applies to all allies right now. 40% all attack and 40% ignore dodge, which is very good for war boss legends, mainly Nahhh, Mephisto, and Infinity Ultron, which is good. His 4-star passive, he gives himself a 30% all attack and a 30% energy attack and a 25% skill damage and 15% bonus damage increase. And his Oz formula, this Oz formula is now changed. It applies to all villain allies. Alright, so all villain allies, it gives them 45% damage increase to super villain and superhero, which is very good. His Iron Patriot used to give a 40% damage increase to superhero and supervillains, but it was only applicable to Dark Avengers allies. And now it's applicable to villain allies, which increases his value even more. His first skill and second skill, nothing too impressive. His second skill is actually, there's a little bit something impressive about it, which gives a shield that is 30% of max HP, which is seemingly good for PvP. Seemingly, yeah, it's kind of helpful. His third skill has some guaranteed dodge rate increase with 4-second invincibility and 20% recovery rate of max HP. His fourth skill has a damage proc with immunity to all damage and paralysis. He also has burn on his second skill, yeah. And his fifth skill is actually really good. It gives all basic attack and basic defenses increased by 100%. Yeah, he increases his attack and defenses by 100%, his speed by 1%, and his critical rate by 30%, and a remove incapacitation, which is very, very good. This is a very broken frenzy of 100% all attack. It's actually really, really broken. Next we have Dr. Octopus. Now Dr. Octopus reverts back to being a combat type. He used to be a speed type with the Secret Empire uniform during the Hydra updates, and now he's a combat type. They changed his 4-star passive and his tier 2 passive. He costs 1,050 crystals, 40% discounts. Yeah, his uniform effect, it gives him 200% damage increase for 1 attack and 50% recovery of max HP when Tentacle Shockwave skill is used. It's a 5-second proc and 15% recovery rate of max HP for 1 second on a 10-second cooldown, which is very good. His 4-star passive, it gives him 40% increase to physical attack and 20% damage decrease. His tier 2 passive, it gives him 20% chain hit when attacking, guaranteed critical rate by 25%, and increased skill damage by 35% and bonus damage by 35% respectively. His first skill and second skill, nothing too impressive about it. His third skill gives him just an immunity to all damage. His fourth skill, it gives him 5-second invincibility with paralysis. And his fifth skill, it gives him a decrease all speeds by 25%, silence, all defense down, minus 5%, that stacks up to minus 55%, that ignores immunity, and it gives him a 40% frenzy buff, all attack, all defense, with 40% critical rate and remove incapacitation. I don't think he has any burn on any of his skills. He only has paralysis and silence. Maybe burns on his awakened skill, but we have to check that one out later. Next we have Electro. Now Electro, he still maintains being a speed type. His uniform is gonna be 40% discounted. It will cost 1050 crystals. They changed his leadership and his 4-star passive. His uniform effect, it gives him damage decrease by 25%, increased basic damage dealt to targets with shock effect by 90%, excluding bosses, ignores enemies damage decrease by 30%. This kind of smells like PvP. Definitely looks like it's a PvP setup for him, but we have to wait and see. His leadership applies to Sinister 6 allies. A 60% all attack increase, and defenses increased by 60% as well, and all speed increased by 15%. So he has 60% all attack and defense increase with 15% speed increase. His 4-star passive, it applies to all allies, increased lightning damage by 30%, and applies to self, increase basic damage dealt to superhero by 30%, and decreases basic damage received from superhero by 30%. His third skill, they only changed 3 of his skills, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. The third skill, it has a recovery of max HP by 35%, and it has an accumulation, but the accumulation seems like it works differently this time. It's an accumulation based on movements, like a proportional movement. Alright, it's increased all basic attack by 1.2%. Every 1% accumulated movement distance proportional to max accumulated movement distance. So it's like the more he moves, the more his attack increases, which is very unique to be honest. We never had this type of accumulation in the game. We only had like accumulation based on damage dealt and accumulation based on damage received. Now we have accumulation based on movement, which is not bad. It's actually not bad at all. We kind of need a little bit of changing in the effects instead of using the same effects over and over again. So I really like this. His fourth skill, it gives him some paralysis, some incapacitation, stun for 3 seconds, and a penetration, 60% penetration to all effects, super armor, barrier, shield, all damage, immune, invincible effect. And it gives him 100% immunity to all damage with a 30% damage proc for the next attack, which is very nice. And his fifth skill has an iframe ignore, and it can be used moving the V pad. When you use it, you can move using the V pad. So that's actually really good. It's an iframe ignore with a V pad, much like Icarus's fourth skill when it has iframe ignore, and you can move using the V pad as well. I really like those type of skills. This skill is really good for PvP. These type of skills actually really like they're like kind of a game changer in PvP when you're playing manually, you know. So I really like this. In the skill, it gives a lightning resistance decrease that stacks up to -75%, and all defense down decrease that stacks up to -75%. It also gives them 4-second invincibility and super armor, and it gives him all basic defense increase by 25%. Also, it gives him a frenzy buff, 30% all attack, all defense with 18% crit rate and 5% attack speed, and also gives him some incapacitation removal. So that's pretty good. Now, there is more to it. Not only Electro is getting awakening, but Electro, Mysterio, Vulture, and Sandman, they're all getting awakening. That's right, all the Sinister 6 members are getting awakening right now. So let's look at Electro's awakening. It's pretty straightforward. Some crit rate and crit damage increased by 35%, some all defense down decreased by 75%, and mind resistance decreased by 30%. That's really good. It also has some decrease of physical defense as well. Also gives us some ignore dodge by 70%, invincible for 8 seconds, all debuff removal, remove all debuffs, and a damage proc for the next attack, and also some frenzy buff, a 25% all attack, all basic defenses increase, 25%. It is the same thing for Mysterio. They all have the same effects. They all have the same effects. They all have the decrease of physical defense and lightning resistance decrease and mine resistance decrease, with crit rate and crit damage increased by 35% and a 70% ignore dodge, a debuff removal with 8-second invincibility, a 50% damage proc for one attack, and all basic attack and defense increased by 25%. They all have the same effects, all of them, which is pretty nice. And basically they all have the same animation. Electro, Mysterio, Vulture, and Sandman, they all have the same animation, just like that of Dr. Octopus. It is the same animation, nothing is changed, which is pretty nice. I'll prefer if they keep the same animation because it really makes sense for all of them, because they're the Sinister Six. And I also really like the animation of this Awakened skill. This is probably, in my personal opinion, the best animation for any Awakened skill in the game so far. So yeah. Also, there are new artifacts for Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Sandman, Electro, Mysterio, and Vulture. So for Dr. Octopus, he gets a increased basic damage dealt to alien characters by 25%, and increased basic damage dealt to creature characters by 25%. For Green Goblin, he only gains a 26% all basic attack increase. For Sandman, he gains a damage decrease from superhero faction by 20% and an increase to his max HP by 15%. For Mysterio, he gets a 20% ignore dodge with a increased basic damage dealt to superhero faction by 20%. As for Vulture, he gains a critical rate instinct increase by 12% and all basic attack increase by 20%. And for Electro, it's an activation skill. Like, it's only being activated when a shock skill is used. Alright, so it only activates when you use a shock effect skill. So activation rate, when shock skill is used, applies to self, all basic attacks increase by 5%. But it's 5% that stacks up to 60%. Like you can see in the bottom, it says stacks up to 60%, which is fascinating. It's really, really good. And all of these effects of the artifacts are at level 4 stats. They're all at level 6. Yeah, they're like 6-star artifact at level 4 stats. So these are really, really good patch notes. There's only one big issue with this patch notes that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna get mad at it. Green Goblin did not get any tier 3 so far. He did not get any tier 3 yet. But I'm 100% sure he's going to get a tier 3 soon. Probably like a week or maybe 2 weeks. Because what do I think about this? I think they're just delaying the tier 3 for Green Goblin just to match out the time frame for the Doctor Strange movie, just to fit in with the anniversary, because there's a lot of hype going around the Doctor Strange movie, and I'm pretty sure that the non-Marvel devs are just delaying the tier 3 for Green Goblin so he can deliver it like 2 weeks before they start delivering the sneak peeks, maybe, so that we can have content about Green Goblin. I'm just gonna buy Green Goblin's uniform. I don't think I'm gonna buy what's his name, Dr. Octopus, nor Electro. I don't think I'm gonna buy these two uniforms. I think I'm just gonna buy Green Goblin and settle for it, because I'm 100% sure he's going to get a tier 3, just not now, maybe a week later or 2 weeks, so they can like they just close the window of having a long gap of period of time playing of Marvel Future Fight without actually having content for the player. So I'm pretty sure they're just delaying it, the tier 3, and after they drop the tier 3 we will have about a week or 2 playing with Green Goblin, and then we'll start having the sneak peeks for the next update. That's my theory about it. That's what I think Alright, that's what I think why they did not give the tier 3 from Green Goblin during this update. But worry not, I'm pretty sure he's going to get a tier 3 very soon. Also, the patch notes will be applied in waves. It can also be accessed during the game can also be accessed during the patch, which means that if you're playing the game on the hour of the patch notes when they land, you can just log out and then log in, and you can immediately just download the patch notes. The patch notes will drop in about 11 hours from the time frame of this video. About 11 hours, yeah. Yeah, that's basically what we got for the updates. 3 uniforms for Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Electro. 5 new awakened skills for Electro, Mysterio, Sandman, Vulture, and who was the 5th guy again? Who was the 5th guy? Yeah, did I send all of them? Yeah, Sandman, Vulture, Mysterio, and Electro. Yeah, all these 4 guys, they're getting their awakened skill. And that's basically it that we got for today. I'm really actually happy about Green Goblin, mostly because he seems like he's going to be a very good support leadership for villain allies, which is really good, because we need more of that. We literally don't have any leadership for villain allies. That's actually really good, except for maybe Black Cat's uniform and maybe Helmut Zemo, maybe. So yeah, I am very excited about this. So patch notes will drop in about 11 hours. I'm gonna buy Green Goblin uniform. I'll try to bring you content with him at tier 2, although at tier 2 I'm pretty sure he's not gonna help you a lot, because right now in Marvel Future Fights, tier 2 characters are pretty much useless except for just Shadowland. They can't do anything outside of Shadowland. Maybe World Boss Ultimates, maybe some story mode normal mission, but who plays story mode and normal mission? Most players, they just play ultimates. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna buy a Green Goblin uniform. I'll try to bring you some content with the Green Goblin at tier 2 and see if he's actually good or not, but he's mostly going to be a leadership / support for villains. Also, if you notice, he doesn't have any accumulation on any of his skills, so maybe he's going to get an accumulation on his tier 3, similar to that to Hawkeye, Falcon. Yeah, similar to them. But yeah, I'm actually very excited about this update. I'm especially excited about Green Goblin. I am 100% sure he's going to get a tier 3 very soon, so stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned for the upcoming videos that I'm going to give you guys for Green Goblin. I'm also have not forgotten about the tier 3 selector guide that I'm going to make a video about, so stay tuned for that as well. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video where I made quick review on these uniforms and these patch notes, hit the like button, subscribe and share. It'll help out the channel grow, and hit the notification ring bell so you won't miss out on the next upcoming videos that I'm going to be posting. And also, if you want to discuss with me about the patch notes or the characters, DM me on Discord. Also join my Discord community. I've uploaded the link. The link is in the description box, where you can join the server. We can discuss about the characters, the new forms for the upcoming update. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video when the patch notes drop. Peace.